That tree. That tree is my life. Hey everybody, Chad here. Driving home, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about what I've been doing in the car the past couple days. It's been kind of fun. So the Leaf basically has these two gauges, which I'm sure you've seen. The power gauge, which shows you how much power you're using, and then this gauge that shows you essentially how well you're driving the car, which I refuse to look up what it's called. I call it the tree gauge. That's what it will forever be known to me. But essentially, you know, the better you drive the car, you get these trees build up, and it's nice. Anyway, after getting used to the car and driving the car pretty well, I've spent the past 2 days trying to keep those two gauges, those two meters, displays, probably gauges, I guess. Those two displays, those two gauges, as close to even as possible. I've been trying to drive the car on my normal daily trip, just under 40 miles. I've been trying to keep the how well I'm driving, the tree gauge. I've been trying to keep it all the way up, and I've been trying to keep the power gauge at 0. Drivers around me be damned. I have had some moments where I was going a little slow in traffic, trying to force it. It's done really well, and I've done it for a couple of reasons. With the cold temperatures, and you saw the previous video featuring the what it was like to drive the car in the winter. With driving it in the winter, I became a little aware of how driving it in different conditions is going to affect the range, and I'm still dealing with some range anxiety, which probably never goes away, but I wanted to see how well my driving would simply affect the guessometer, the display that shows how many miles I have left on the charge. Purely speculative. I just wanted to see what that would do based on my driving habits, how long I could keep it at one number, things like that. So the way I did that is by driving it at as little power as possible and at as efficient as possible, which has been my goal for the last 2 days. Yesterday morning it was chilly, drove it as efficiently as I possibly could, and essentially on the meter was able to keep it relatively high, to where when it started it thought I would get just under 60 miles on a 80% charge. By the time I got home, I was able to get it up into the 60s for that range. So that was nice. Obviously, that meter I'm sure works like a range meter on a combustion engine car. That essentially it takes the last 5 or 10 miles you've driven, and it looks at all the factors, and it gives you this guess based on those features. I'm assuming that's how this works. I haven't looked into it. I should. But yeah, I think it's taking the last 5 miles and looking at how efficiently you drove, and it's telling you based on those conditions how far you can go. I'm sure someone will comment and let me know if I'm right or wrong. Yesterday was great. Essentially, I was able to comfortably drive the distance I wanted to go. I was able to see a greater, essentially, the range was increasing through the day as I drove it, which was really nice. Today did the same thing. Today had a new interesting wrinkle in the experiment, though. This morning it was very windy, and I was driving straight into the wind the whole time. I felt myself compensating, or even overcompensating in the wind, especially uphill, pushing the car harder uphill, not letting it coast as easily downhill. The resistance in the wind was definitely noticeable, both on the wheel and in the power. But I've done very well. Again, charged to 80% today, and getting around 60 miles on my battery, which I'm totally fine with. But yeah, it's been a fun experiment. The Leaf continues to be an interesting car to own for the first couple weeks, just in terms of experimenting with it and getting to know how it drives. I've been mostly driving in B Eco mode. Today I'm not driving in B mode. Been just driving in D. Still in Eco, using the regenerative braking as much as possible. But yeah, not in the B mode today. Just, again, experimenting and playing with it some. But yeah. The other thing I did, people have been asking me if I'm going to get an outlet installed or if I'm going to get a higher power charger for the car for at home. And the answer is I don't know. I'll talk more in videos about why I got the electric car. But Overall, I don't need to. The standard 120 plug is working just fine for me, more than covering my needs. I'm able to fully charge it to what I needed overnight. The energy usage is the same either way, so it doesn't make much of a difference. But overall, it's been fine. The one thing I was having an issue with is that our house has very odd power outlet placement. I'm getting choked up. So I have been, since I got the car, have been essentially parking behind my wife, who parks in the garage, and I have been running it from our porch over to the car. No real issue, but haven't, you know, I want her to be able to leave whenever she wants. I don't want to have to move the car. So the one thing I did do as a convenience feature for the Leaf, I went out and I bought a heavy gauge extension cord. I also found out we only have 2 power outlets in our garage, which I feel low. Let me know how many power outlets you have in your garage, because I feel like 2 is low. I got a heavy gauge, essentially, you know, the same gauge that runs in the walls of your house, extension cord, so that I can run that out from the garage to the car, so that I can park it wherever I need to in the driveway to charge it. And that's been a great purchase. Very happy with that choice. The cord is small enough that I can close the garage door on top of it and not have any issues. It's been a nice thing to just be able to pull in, plug it in, and leave it, and not have to worry about moving it if my wife needs anything. Overall, still really enjoying the experimenting of this car and getting to know it. I've been enjoying XM radio. Don't know if I'm going to keep that, but I got a free trial, so that's been fun. If there's anything you guys want to know about it, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to make a video about that. It's really nice here today. Come on, tree. Come on, tree. I'm not driving. The one thing that I haven't been talking about much since getting the Leaf and playing with it more and more is the business. And I am going to be doing a video about the holidays for the business. I'll do that next week. Man, I'm struggling with this cough. It's been an incredible couple weeks for Scribe Delivery. If you guys aren't familiar with that, you can check out the other videos or check out the link in the comments. We've grown quite a bit in the last couple weeks. Had a nice couple features. We were featured on BuzzFeed. Be sure to check out the upcoming video about that. But yeah, planning on doing more content about the business. If that's something that interests you, let me know in the comments. It's really exciting to see the growth and to you know, finally sort of see this thing that we've been working on so hard, you know, get almost to that point, this close to that point where we thought that maybe it could be something huge. That tipping point of where we go from, you know, hobby to something huge. And we're right there. We're right on that edge. So it's really exciting. More content about the business coming soon, so be on the lookout for that.